just got my army ration pack heating up in there. Today I have got the sausage casserole. The only reason I'm eating it is because they're wet and they're very heavy, so I'm just, oh damn. No matter how much water I put back there, that keeps on bubbling out. So I think we'll say that's just about done. Wedge the lid on with a convenient stove, and then so if the weather does turn, I think wind is your biggest issue right here, but if that does turn really bad, you can find yourself just stuck and you can't go anywhere, particularly with a canoe. So it is important to have, I've probably got at least 3 days extra rations to what I need, and probably at a stretch I could string that out a bit longer because I've got quite a lot of snack bars and protein bars which I haven't started to eat yet. So that's what I'm doing. So this is my camp spot. I'm virtually done now, so it's about 6:45. As soon as I've eaten my food, I'm ready to hit the water. Everything's packed away, just done. I'm just letting the tarp dry a bit. Right, just while I'm waiting for my breakfast to heat up, I thought I'll just show you on the map. So that's the Greater Rogen area. This is the Lake Rogen here, and Väster-Rödsjön, which is where I'm hoping to get to. And I started from here, which is Canoe. So last night, well actually the night before last night, I spent the night around that nodule, and there was a portage through there, a bit longer one. It wasn't too bad. I then went all the way through here, through this gap, and circled down here, and this is where the bigger portage is now to get to Rogen, and there's a wind shelter there. I did walk down there. So once I left Rogen here, I went through this here, through the small gap there, carried round, and I am camped just here on this little peninsula. And then while I was here, I took a couple of trips out. I went up around these lakes and up the end here when I was trying to catch a fish, unsuccessfully. Hooked one and lost it, and so I'm now going to leave there and I'm going to follow my way back to Rogen. Well, I've eaten my sausage casserole. The only good thing about it is that it did have 3 sausages in it. Well, they claim to be sausages. But anyway, that was a hearty meal. That's warmed me up. Give me some energy, which is the main thing. I spent quite a bit of time at that camp, so this morning I've had a very good walk around to make sure I haven't left anything behind, because once you've had all your gear spread out, it's incredibly easy just to go off and leave something. So yeah, I don't think I've done that for a very long time, but a couple of times I have almost left and then thought, shit, I haven't taken my ridge line down, or left my straps from my hammock wrapped around the trees. But yeah, don't want to lose kit on a trip like this, because obviously some of that stuff is very essential. I can already feel that the wind has been picking up a bit. It's now 7:30, so decent time to be on the water really. I can't get forecast out here because I've got nothing on my phone. Although I could possibly get something on my Garmin. But the last forecast I saw did say that today, but yesterday it said it was going to be a lot of sun, which there was. Today I think it said there was going to be some wind. Right, well this was it. We're now approaching the Portage leading to Lake Rogen. Just up here ahead of me. So this is day 3 of my adventure, which one of my friends has very kindly dubbed Rise Big Paddle. Yes, thank you, Paul. Yes, I thought that was rather amusing, but I suppose I am on a rather large paddle, and I've got a large paddle in my hands. So yes, day 3 of Rise Big Paddle 2025. He's made me a couple of t-shirts which are really nice, so I will get to show you them a bit later on perhaps. They're rather cool, they're bright yellow so you can't miss them. I have been finding it a bit hard to sort of settle in really, I don't know quite why. The first day and even to an extent yesterday, I just find it hard to sort of just chill out and relax. I do have a hard time relaxing at the best of times because I always feel I should be doing something. And I had quite a long time at camp yesterday and I was just, just doing all kinds of stuff, fishing and canoeing and fiddling around with my gear and just what I should have done was just been sitting there sunbathing. But right, I've made 2 trips, so I've carried all the gear. I'm now going back for the canoe. I mean, the portages wouldn't be so bad if you were just walking on a nice flat gravel path, but you're having to do a bit of mountaineering whilst you're carrying stuff. And although I'm sure it doesn't look like it on here, but these rocks are very uneven, very awkwardly spaced naturally, and yeah, it's hard work. I had 3 German lads, they're going to Norway, to the other side of the Rogen. But we had a nice chat, so that's good. Quite refreshing to see, but they've got a ton of gear as well, so should have known better. I hiked all this last year on the other side and I didn't see a damn sight of wildlife at all, but there we are. I thought it might be useful. But other than that, there's a few things I shouldn't have brought. I've got that pair of little waterproof canoeing shoes which I thought I'd end up wearing those, but I haven't done so far, so it looks like they're going to be an unnecessary item to carry around, but then they don't weigh a lot, so oh blimey, I'm not looking forward to coming back here with a canoe on my shoulders. So I'm hoping now I've got to here I'm going to settle down a bit. As I said, I have felt a little bit out of sorts, and I don't quite know why. I'm not normally, not normally worried about doing anything new. I mean, I'm here but on my own obviously, but and there's some big lakes, and obviously if you got into trouble it would be a bit nasty, but if I'm sensible that shouldn't happen. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what it is. I've had 2 reasonable night's sleep in the hammock. I mean, you do tend to wake up a lot. Well, I do in a hammock. I don't quite know why, but I was probably in bed by 9, and I woke up thinking, well, it's going to be fairly, because there was a full moon last night. I thought it'll be fairly early in the morning. It was bloody midnight, so it's like, so then you're lying back to bed, and yeah, and that's how it is. You wake up thinking that's going to be 6 and that isn't. But yes, but we'll see what today brings anyway. looks actually a lot better. So I've secured my life jacket around that centre fort, and yeah, so made a huge difference actually, because that bar was killing my back. So that's a good thing to do. At least here there is a toilet. Well, I'm not quite sure who they built it for, because you have to stand on those rocks to even get anywhere near the top. It's ridiculous. That must be for an 8-foot giant. Anyway, I'm not sure what the biggest relief is, actually using it or leaving it, because blimey, composting toilets have got a scent all to themselves. I'm glad there's no one else here, so I can leave the door open anyway. Because yeah, it's most unpleasant. Whoa, well that's been a hard paddle so far. Yes, I'm on Rogen and I've got a headwind, surprisingly, and it is actually quite stiff. I've just been skirting this, been getting quite close to the land, and that is, yeah, it's very wavy. Canoe's been bouncing around, getting airborne at the front, and I can feel the whole canoe flexing under me. A little unnerving. So I'm just in the protection of this little spit at the moment, so I'm going to stop here and just see what it looks like over here, because I think once I'm in the full force of the wind again, it's going to be very yeah, very tough. And because I've got to skirt around this side, I'm going to be sideways onto the waves, which is never a good thing. It's much better to tackle them head on, obviously. So yeah, just in case the worst happens, I'm just looking around to see whether there's anywhere here where I could at least set up camp. And the bit I'm on is virtually no trees, apart from the ones on this side which are in the full force of the wind. I'm nearly level with this part, and if you go around that corner then that takes you to the Roa and Norway. But you can see how rough it is. Look, yeah, I'm not going down this, definitely not. I've just walked in a bit, and my canoe is over there on the end of those rocks, and I've just walked around here, and yeah, there's some trees here. It's reasonably sheltered, it's a bit in the wind, but there's some nice trees there which I can string my hammock between. So I'm going to wait it out here, as I said, do some fishing, and if worst comes to the worst, you know, if by 5 o'clock the wind hasn't died down, then I'll set up a camp there, and maybe I can do a bit of walking in the hills here. Take my camera out for a walk, you never know, I might see something. Just like to get the canoe a bit closer to here, that's all. Yeah, there's a decent little bit of shore here. So it's so bloody rocky on these edges, you know, you think you can get in unless rocks just underneath the water which stop you. Like there's two there, there's one there, this one is free to stand on, there's one there and there which is just under the water. But even so, possibly there might be a bit better. Right, well I've selected a spot, so I've just got the tarp up there because it's wet from last night, so it's a nice breeze to dry the tarp in. Reduce the weight in my pack if nothing else. But also, if the tarp hangs down, I'll know that the wind has stopped, so it'll be a perfect indicator. Because at the moment it is quite windy, that isn't getting any better, that's for sure. So, but you know, like I said, if I have to stop here, it's a lovely spot, so could do a lot worse. Just have to make sure I anchor the tarp down properly. But all being well, it will drop later on. Failing that, the next opportunity will probably be very early doors in the morning, so that might be mean getting up ridiculously early just to get down to the southern end. So yeah, we'll see. This was forecast, so I'm not surprised. Doesn't look like I'm the first person to have sheltered here. Wherever it was last time. Left some rubbish here. So I shall take that with me. Everywhere else looks quite clean, so maybe that. I think there's a walking trail quite near here as well, so it could have been a walker perhaps. Shame to disrespect such a beautiful place. Now I'll look around, if I find any more I shall pick it up and take it with me as well. Leave the place better than I found it. Hey, Ray's big paddle. Right, I've been stamping around there fishing for nearly 2 hours, well, hour and a half probably. Yeah, not caught anything. They're quite difficult conditions around some of this, because there's so many rocks, and you know there's even some really massive boulders just out a little way from the shore. So if you try and do a slow retrieve, you just end up getting snagged up. And I did that last night and lost the lure, so this is the last bigger one I've got. So we'll give up for now. What has happened is the wind has dropped significantly, so I'm going to quickly get stuff packed up and get back on the water. See if we can get round to the next wind shelter. So you'll get there and then see what conditions are like then. But yeah, I mean, it's still, obviously it's not a mill pond, but it's, you know, those huge waves have gone, so should be a bit more friendly. So fingers crossed. Right, well that didn't work out terribly well. You can believe it, can't you? As soon as I got back on the water, it instantly seemed like the wind picked up. And yeah, I only just got round the corner from where I was, and a couple of big waves and the wind just took me onto some rocks. But yeah, so I got slightly beached, but I mean, no harm done. I managed to jump out onto the rocks and, you know, get everything off as it were. But so now I've carried all the bags halfway between where that happened and where I was. So hedging my bets about staying here for tonight. The other thing is in the melee I lost my bloody microphone again. I had it clipped on my life jacket and it just flicked off, landed in the water, and yeah, I mean it'll be buggered anyway, but if I could find it and then left it long enough to dry out, you know, like a week or two, you know, that might go. But trouble is I'm grubbing around in the rocks where that fell, or I should have grabbed it straight away and I didn't, because I was obviously trying to save the canoe. But anyway, so I was just looking for a stick so I can move a rock, but because any loose sticks around here usually get burnt, so that's not proven to be that easy. Yeah, so that's where we're at. So I'm still waiting. I'm going to stop and have some food now, and then we'll see what happens. So yeah, clearly that was just trying to catch me out, which it did, because it had calmed right down, but yeah, didn't last long. Never mind, could have been a lot worse. At least I didn't get capsized and all the gear got wet, so well, it's in dry bags anyway, but I must have it. So yeah, but anyway, it could have been worse. So live to tell the tale, and take that as a lesson not to take liberties, because this place will bite you back, and bloody rocks are just there waiting to get you. Never mind. But I'm still here. That's just gone 3 o'clock. I found a beach, which is quite handy, because I do feel like I am marooned at the moment. So I'm charging up my phone and devices. I've got all my bags set up over there. The canoe's still over here. I'm just I'm praying that as soon as the wind drops I just want to load it up and go. But as you can see, there's white horses on Rogen. It's not looking very canoe friendly. And I've made my way down here, and I've got down, and I was sheltering in this bay here, and then I thought that had died down, so I tried, as I turned this headland here, it's really got me, and that's where that swamped me there up against the rocks. So now I'm sitting in this bay, sort of like basically adjacent to it, and what I want to try and do is I want to try and get down here to the shelter here. I'd really want to get there tonight, but if I can't, I can't. But and I think once I'm there, because the wind is sort of blowing across in this direction, from there I think because of these mountains, this area will be a lot more sheltered, because then I'd like to get down to the bottom there and then come back up to here, and I'd like to do that today and that tomorrow, and then I can go round. I think I am going to go round here, which if the wind keeps as it is, this will obviously be sheltered. And I would just like to have a look at this area here and just have a little play around, and then head back around here and back home the way I came. So that's the plan if it works out. Like, newsflash, Ray's big paddle 2025 is still on hold. He is still marooned on an island. The only thing I haven't got is Wilson to talk to, but I've been talking to some other friends, so I'm okay. God alive, it's 10 to 5 and it's still pretty choppy, so a couple of times the wind has died down. I thought, oh, here we go, and then it bloody picks up again. So I'm going to give it another hour. If it hasn't changed, then I think I'm going to be staying here for the night. Newsflash, Ray's big paddle, it has calmed down enough. I think it's 10 to 6. It's the calmest I've seen it for a long while, so I think I'm gonna push on. I hope I'm making the right decision. It's definitely eased. The wind has dropped. So yeah, hopefully we're gonna be good. I'll speak to you later.